AEW All Access, new episodes Wednesdays on TBS. Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker here joining me. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
This is a big season for both of you,
It sure is.
Yeah, absolutely.
especially with coming up with this week's episode. Adam, let's go and talk a little bit about Chris Jericho making an appearance. Let's talk a little bit about what we can expect and what might happen.
Yeah, so I mean, for anyone who's followed my career, they know that Chris Jericho is a guy that I seriously idolized. I mean, he was someone that I watched and studied and enjoyed as a fan. So for Adam Cole, the fan, I'm very, very excited about this week. As far as what to expect, it's Chris Jericho, so you never know what to expect. I don't know what he means by confronting me, but yeah, I'll be ready to rock and roll. We'll see.
Brett, let's talk. You, Jamie, Tony, and Ruby. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect.
I mean, we're in Pittsburgh this week, so that's my city, my people. We definitely have the home field advantage, Jamie and myself. And Jamie and I, we are just on another level right now. I mean, we are clicking, we're running on all cylinders, and I wouldn't want to be in the ring with myself and Jamie together. So I feel bad for the other girls.
No, I watched the show. I would not want to be in the ring with you and Jamie either. So. Adam, as far as some of you had two concussions, we had a couple of medical setbacks, and this was kind of the season where we were seeing, were you going to make a return? Were you not going to make a return? What was going to happen? Tell us a little bit about having that process being filmed for the show.
Yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking. And as far as the actual process, it was incredibly challenging. In my 15-year wrestling career, there has been nothing that has been more challenging than going through what I went through with the two back-to-back head injuries. And again, wondering constantly, am I going to be able to continue to live my dream at 33 years old? But I felt like it was really important to the fans who had been so supportive through my entire process, when a lot of them had no idea not only what was going on, but the severity of what was going on. And feeling that support from them and my family and my friends and Britt, I thought, man, of a time to showcase this, it's now.
It's now. I mean, because you watch the series and you want to see you back and out there again, but then you start hearing the backstory of how you've been doing this since you were a kid and what it's meant to you and all the training you put into it. And I think hearing it from that angle makes people want to root for you even more.
Sure. Which again has just been incredible. But I mentioned this when I was in Los Angeles for AEW Dynamite, how so many people had even said things like, I don't care if he never wrestles again. I just want him to be okay. And they don't know me personally, but the fact that they thought to take the time to send that message, and I would get stuff like that every single day. I mean, it meant more than you could possibly imagine. So I also can't explain. I've never been more happy in my life to be back to work. I am so excited, excited.
And we're happy to see you again. And Britt, as far as, one of the things that I admire about you is how you're always trying to lift up the other women in the industry as well too, is that, you could take all the titles, you could take, all the fame, and you've worked really hard for it, but you also try to build a community at the same time too. Where did that come from inside of you?
Because you have to have an army with you. You can't just be fighting by yourself. You have to have people on your side. And we want AEW to succeed. I want us to have the best women's division in the world. And if a lot of people could say that we maybe do have the best women's division in the world, but then we have to have a whole roster full of huge stars and great wrestlers and great promos. And you have to help out. You have to elevate women when you have the opportunity, when you have the chance. If you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice, because at the end of the day, you have to have other people to wrestle too. You want people to care about all these matches. You want everybody to be super invested in every single girl that's in the ring.
We get to see the cameras on both of you professionally, but also personally as well too. Tell us a little bit about, that conversation that the two of you had as far as like, we're going to go, behind the scenes at work, but also in our home life as well.
Yeah. So it kind of came in steps. So first, the network had came to me about filming, being like a dentist and a wrestler and behind the scenes a little bit. He wasn't even here yet. He wasn't an option to be on the show because he was still at NXT. Yeah. Then when he came to AEW, they were like, oh my gosh, would he be willing to be a part of this? Do you think he would let us kind of film him? And I was very honest. I said, I don't think so, guys. He's very private. I don't see that being something he'd be into. And he agreed to it. And then right before we started filming, he had this head injury, and that was horrifying. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, he's not good. He's definitely out now. And he wasn't. He really really wanted them to film his journey and his healing process. And it was kind of scary because we didn't know what was happening. Like, it was all being filmed in real time. So we didn't know what was going to make the show, because we didn't know what was happening to make the show. So it was kind of very scary. And I keep saying the word raw because it's exactly what it was.
Yeah, for sure.
Britt, did you grow up in Punxsutawney where they have the groundhog?
I did. My family still has a house in Punxsutawney.
Did you go out there as kids or as a family to go see everything and all that madness that was out there?
Of course, yeah. We actually get school off on Groundhog's Day. So everybody, I think my entire middle school, high school years, we always went up to Gobbler's Knob to see Punxsutawney Phil.
Because they filmed the film with Bill Murray, Groundhog's Day, here in the Chicagoland area. So there's a couple of monuments, and they always do a big thing here, but it's like our city and then, that town as well too. Like, they go back and forth, like, and that's why it's always such a special thing for us here. And I was just curious about that for you growing up.
People are actually heartbroken when I have to tell them that they didn't film Groundhog's Day in Punxsutawney, that it was filmed in Chicago.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for your time today. AEW All Access Wednesdays on TBS. Adam and Dr. Britt, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.